Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel, I hope you're all doing well. Ciao fans of Turin Giants, because we start with the newness this season. We are in September and we start immediately with a bang. We said it, this season is a season of surprises, and we start immediately to tell you that every single Thursday at 10 p.m. Italian time, 4 p.m. New York, we will be live here in collaboration GJustjuve and the team of Turin Giants. That can be Zach and Fred, as we see here today on screen, but we have Kevin, we have Farad, we have so many nice people from the team Turin Giants that will rotate, and of course we have also some beautiful surprises like people from other channels, people that are doing something else in football world, like some journalists, some expert of Mercato, who knows, maybe some ex-players that are starting to discover the channel that can join and speak with us about our beloved Juventus. The newness will continue. It's not the only one, because not only we are here live every single Thursday at 10 p.m. Italian time, but also because after the show, I believe a few hours later or maybe the day after, you will be able to listen to that episode in podcast audio on the channel of Turin Giant that you can find, if I'm not wrong, on Spotify, on Apple Music, and all the different available channels. So I'm extremely happy. Of course, we will not do that intro every single time, but I'm extremely happy to announce you that collaboration with Turin Giants that we start today. Buongiorno, buonasera, Zach and Fred. Who wants to continue the intro?
Well, one, I think the only reason why I like coming on your show, Beppe, is so I can listen to the intro music. You know, I think just go groove for that for a minute and a half. Thanks for having me. Good to see you, everybody. But that's really why I come on here.
Well, the intro music is done by a Juventino, by Alessio Santoliquido, that is a guitar player, electric, but also acoustic. He's playing in Belgium. He's doing a lot of shows with different bands, and he's a big, huge Juventino. And I said, Beppe, let me do something for you. So we stay within Juventini, and also that music can be used also for the podcast without copyright. Yeah, if there is a copyright, I will take all the money. That's good. Ciao, Fred.
Ciao, amico. I'm very happy to be here and to complete this trio of three beautiful bald men, as the chat says. Don't worry, guys. I see a lot of people are fearing that their hair will fall out after this podcast, but it won't happen. It's a coincidence, but it's a nice one. And I'm happy to be here and especially honored. So thank you.
It was really funny because I was doing the thumbnail and I was creating it in vertical and in horizontal way. And then I saw who would join me today, Fred and Zach. And I said, okay, let's put it on Instagram that also the not bald people could join today. So it's not a bald exclusive live, but it's always nice to see that I'm not the only person that lost hair, at least, or maybe it's a decision. Anyway, let me say hello to all the people that are already here in the chat, but also all the people that will listen it in replay in their car or at work or wherever you are. People are listening to the podcast. Buongiorno, buonasera. I don't have the ring of Alessandro Belpiero, but I'm sure that Farad is already in your mind, that you know it by heart. Here in the chat, we already have people like Jim that was asking, Beppe, can we do at 10:30 because there is international break? No, we can't. Ciao Bogdan, ciao Ale Juve, ciao MZ Skiller, Elias, buongiorno, Zero Delays, Limo, Junior Mas, Don Simon, Fabione 45, Bibo, Hani is there as well into the chat. Let me check. Robin Banks, Giga Chat 19 or 1897, Judge Bug Need. We are with a lot of people, and we also have a new member of the channel, new extension of membership, something that maybe Kenan Yildiz will also do in the coming days. Well, 37 months for Massimo Leste. Whoa, every Thursday. Christmas coming early this year. Well, you know, we said it that we started a bit last season also to have a bit more guests on the channel, because it's not only my opinion that is important, but also the opinion of a lot of Juventini. And after having Turin Giants last season for one podcast, but also to speak with Farad, that I had the opportunity to meet real live in Orlando, we said we need to do something. And maybe we have like new surprises. Maybe we are working on it. It will happen. Maybe it will not happen. But maybe it could be that they will also be on the site of Turin Giants, some GJustjuve merch, but that's for a later stage. Zach and Fred, question immediately. We are already 2 games in Serie A. That's 2 out of 38 with a non-complete team into Mercato. Without speaking about Mercato too fast, because that will be the big topic, of course, of today. What did you get from it? It's 6-on-6. It's 3 goals scored. It's 0 goals conceded. 2 goals of a player that in a lot of our minds would not have been there. What do you made from the 2 first games and the season right now? Also thinking about maybe the competitors.
Last year, we talked about it ad nauseum, how there was possession without bite. And after 2 games, and so obviously the sample size is small, but after 2 games, we lead Serie A in shot creating actions at 71. And that to me shows a clear imprint of Tudor's positive possession play as opposed to some more of the passive possessive play we saw under Motta. And that makes me feel optimistic, despite the fact that we haven't scored quite as many goals as I would have liked.
Go ahead, Fred.
Well, for me, it's the same. I'm very, very positive because, well, these are games, especially the last game against Genoa. That was a typical game that we would have drew or lost last season. And now we just see that the little things that have been improved, like the presence of Bremer in the back and some more attacking or more substantial football towards the front, helps us gain those points and makes us keep a bit of a balanced squad in terms of conceding and scoring. So that's very good, and I think we can only build upon this. We'll talk about Mercado later, but I feel that we have more to us than we had last year, and we finally have a coach that understands, in my opinion, Juventus and the way Juventus should approach these games. Because even if you're playing the likes of Genoa and Parma, they are important because they represent 3 points that can be won.
Look, if we do the comparison with last year, 2 first game, we played a really beautiful football against Como, a really beautiful football against Verona, twice 3-0. If we compare the 2 periods, the 2 blocks of 2 games, we could say today, okay, they were incomplete back then because a lot of signings didn't arrive, like Cope Manners, Douglas Luiz was there, but Cope Manners, Nico Gonzalez, Chico Conceição, that they were not there in the 2 first games, but it was really beautiful, were 2 beautiful games. Now we go with a 2-0, with a 1-0. You could say, I don't know. Let's see what will happen with Inter. That will be the first big game. I remember last year, the first big one was against Roma. We drew 0-0 in an extremely boring game that opened the series of draws. I'm really curious about what will happen against Inter. It will be totally... it's a big game, a bit too soon probably in the season, but maybe it's a good thing that we face them. Maybe it's too soon. But I will tell you that the big difference with last season is that Genoa probably would not have won it with Thiago Motta. Maybe the huge big difference with Tudor is that probably the team has a bit more that will to win the game. I can be wrong, of course. We need to be tested. We will see what will happen in the other games, and not always it will happen. But I think it's important, the difference of a dirty game against Genoa, because it was really dirty. It was the battle of the in the midfield. It was a total war with a lot of fights. It was dirty caca football, like I call it, at a certain moment. The first half, I tried to rewatch it twice, and twice I fell asleep because it was extremely a boring first half. Then better in the second half. No, but it's true. I mean, I tried. I really tried. But it was really, really a difficult game that was extremely close with, I believe, 1-2 shots on target. That was it. And for in the first 25 minutes, 0 shots on target for Juve. So it was extremely blocked. But then that extra will of winning can maybe describe the differences in the beginning of the season between Thiago Motta and Igor Tudor.
I think you have to look at sort of the complexion of the team as it goes out there. Motta focused a lot on possession. And I think Tudor says, yeah, possession is great and all our possession numbers aren't bad, but you have to turn that into attacking moves. We beat Como 3-0, but we had half as many shots and shots on goal in the Como game as we did against Parma. right? So we didn't score as much, but we were way more aggressive getting the ball on goal and towards the goalkeeper. I think that's really important. And another stat, I think it was, and I don't remember off the top of my head whether it was from Genoa or Parma, but usually the team was dominating possession in both these cases, Juventus. You usually see the other team lead in interceptions and blocks because they're setting deep and they're tackling and they're intercepting the ball to try to incite counterattacks. But Juventus actually led, I think it was the Genoa game, in interceptions and blocks, showing the success of their high press to continue to push and try and suffocate teams. And those are the building blocks of an effective team, even early in the season, even as people are finding form and new players are joining, that give me confidence that we didn't have last year despite winning, back-to-back 3-0s.
We have a message from Hernan that is telling us Noche de Calvos, saludos hermanos, que alegría verte, in Spanish, which means the night of the balls. Buonasera, Hernan. Gracias, Hernan. Gracias, hermano. What a beautiful message. Sorry, I interrupted you, Fred.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to say I really love the high pressure that we're applying right now, because last year it almost felt as if when we were playing that possession type football, we didn't find any solutions because we were too slow in the build-up play. Now with this high press, you basically compel your teammates to think faster, act faster, and just execute faster, which makes, in my opinion, for much more attractive football and much, I hope, dangerous football in the future in terms of goal creation.
Look, Tudor has always had a philosophy of attacking football. Of course, not conceding. Of course, being balanced, but it's an attack plus football where he wants to run equally, if not more, than the opposition team, which is super important for him. And what I noticed here in the two first games, Parma and Genoa, is that he perfectly knows that we are not yet able to play 90 minutes. Because you see that a lot of time during Parma and Genoa, we gave actually some minutes to the opponent team, or we were not at high intensity. In the game against Parma, you see that we grow in that second half. In the game of Genoa, you see that it's really with moments, because he knows that the preparation during the summer has been extremely, extremely short. So it was not an easy one to prepare. He's counting also in the coming weeks to gain some physicality from a lot of players. And then if the players are following him, if they are in that huge intensity, it can give us something, and that actually will give us that beautiful assist to go towards Mercato with all the choices that we made with offensive players. Is that maybe the key for having so much alternatives, because he wants to keep that intensity super high. Let me say thank you to Aman, 46 months as a member with us with the 3 balls. With I understand the message and it's a beautiful one. Bravo, grande Aman. And then Hernan Gimenez that just offered 20 membership to all the people that are watching. Gracias, hermano. Thank you, my friend. I wanted to show you, and then we can go towards Mercato talk, because that's why people are here. I wanted to show you the ranking at the moment of Serie A. Let me put it a bit bigger like that so that everyone can watch it. So we see the different teams. Is there any surprise in the top 10, top 20 that you were not expecting in the first 2 match days, or something that is confirming what you were already thinking about it?
Has to be Cremonese, I think. Has to be Cremonese, and maybe Udinese as well. But in our Turin Giants preseason talk, I think I stated that the likes of Roma and Lazio are not teams that we have to under evaluate in terms of quality. But to see Cremonese at a third place, okay, granted it's only been 2 games, but it's still a bit baffling, because you would have assumed that that was a team that was going to end up with maybe even 0 points after first 2 games. So it all points out to the fact that it's going to be a very diverse and very hopefully exciting season in Serie A.
Yeah, I think these early games are hard to evaluate. Teams are still betting in, and we always see some relegation teams perform really well early on and then fade, sometimes aggressively late. Frosinone a couple years ago, Spal several years before that started extremely strong. So I think what we're really going to see is next week the season really start. where the teams competing in European competitions have to rotate in, while teams like Milan and certainly the teams expected towards the bottom of the table are going to be able to focus solely on one game a week for really the teams to separate themselves to where we'll see them towards the end of the season.
There is always that small team that is breaking our balls in the beginning of the season. They go pushing for 10 games. Has been Frosinone in the past with Di Francesco, has been Udinese. I remember 2-3 seasons ago that went with 10 games without losing, if I'm not wrong. So there is always that middle smaller team. Then you have a Bologna that today we are seeing as a high mid team, but a few seasons ago when they started and they were able to keep the run for actually the entire season. But it's true that you always have that little surprise in the beginning, also because these teams, they start with a preparation with one game a week in mind. They also want to make as soon as possible as many points as possible. Then they play against the Milan. It is totally incomplete. That change coach and then you see the surprise that is happening. Of course, that goal of Anguissa at the 95th minute is extremely annoying because it's not that much about the goal himself or the 3 points. It's just because knowing Antonio Conte, these are the games that he loves to win. He prefers winning them like that at the 1-0 at the 95th than winning it 3-0. Why? Because that's how he will go into the locker room telling them about the spirit and the fighting, etc., etc. So I was extremely annoyed with that one. Now, guys, no, then other surprises, as you said, guys. No, maybe who is the one except of Napoli, Inter that you see as can be a really threat for the entering the top 3, top 4, top 5?
My wild card is Fiorentina.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw them as the big disappointment.
See, I think, and we're going to talk about Serie A this year, and I think so much of it's going to be defined less on the players being brought in and more so on the coaching carousel. And I definitely have questions about Pioli, but I love the business that Fiorentina has done. They've brought in, I think, a really good group of young players across all positions. And if Pioli can get them to sync and Keane can have a season like last year, considering what we're going to talk about the teams around them, I could see them steal a 4th spot. Absolutely.
Okay.
My money is on Lazio. I don't know why. I don't have that many things to discuss about Lazio, but they have a coach who knows Serie A through and through, has experience, and who knows how to get the best out of players. And they have a solid team. They haven't lost that many players with regards to last season. They strengthened their squad, at least in depth, I mean, and I think also quality if I look at the names, but I have to see it on the pitch. So on paper, I think they have a very, very strong side, and Lazio is also a team that when they get into a certain flow, they tend to maintain that for a long while, especially at home. So I think that we'll see Lazio gain a lot of points at the Stadio Olimpico this season against stronger sides on paper, as the likes of maybe even us, Inter, Milan, Roma. I don't know. So I look at them as a fairly strong outsider for a top 4 spot, in my opinion.
Okay, we'll enter the Mercato of the other teams later as well, guys, for the people that are in the chat and people that are listening. So it was just by curiosity. I went with actually the contrary of Zach, because I said Fiorentina could potentially be the biggest flop. And one of the surprises could be Lazio, according to me. You know why? They were forced to do zero Mercato, but they brought back a Sarri that knows the environment. They will not complain. They will go for it. I was really surprised that they played that bad that first game against Como, but then you saw the second game, they did something already beautiful. Let's see. It will be, of course, question mark. So if we go now after 20 minutes finally to Mercato Juve, in, out, and then we end with the rating about the Mercato, and then also we go towards the team, the squad of 25-26 Juve before speaking about the other teams. With a yes or with a no, chat as well. I want you to participate, just yes and no without rating and without explanation. Were you satisfied about Mercato 25-26, at least the summer Mercato of Juventus Football Club? Yes and no in the chat, but also Fred and Zach.
I'll
The
let
answer,
Zach go first.
my answer is no, which is going to seem like a contradiction when we talk about ratings. But I think it's with the idea that you're Juventus and you need to win everything, that you always want more. And so to see a relatively tame Mercato, I'm going to go no.
I'm gonna go yes. Not just because of the players that we brought in, but the way they were brought in. This was clearly Comoli's game with a plan behind it, and the way that how we handled it, to me, well, it nurtures respect in some way. And granted, we miss maybe a central midfielder, maybe a right wing back. I agree with that. It's also true, but it's very clear that this Mercato was. Carried out by Comoli on his terms. And I'm pretty sure we could have had a right wing back and overpaid him. We could have had a central midfielder and overpaid him, but it was Comoli taking a stand in his first tenure saying, look, this is done. We're not gonna sponsor any more team stadiums and things like that. We're gonna do it either in a fair way or not at all. So that is why I like this Mercado, even though, like Zach mentioned, it was a bit tame, especially in the center half. Like it started out with David, and then it was plowing all along through the month of August in order to do something in the last 48 hours. So yeah, and credits to you also too, Beppe, because uh, you were first before me to the news of Zegrova at the time. I think I was 5 minutes later, and then we were both followed by Fabrizio Romano. So I think we did good with the info that we had. But nice to see a player like Aiden joining the squad as well. Very Conceição like in terms of impact, in terms of well everything, dribbling speed, delivering passes. So I'm happy. I'm not gonna complain for once.
Yeah, no, no, I think both are here. By the way, thank you, Marco. Grazie, Marco. I see here people going crazy. Zegrova talked and Beppe eyes start glazing. No, but sometimes you are lucky. I didn't know about you, Fred. I didn't know. So, congratulations about that. Really, congratulations. Now, because it's sometimes you have luck. You know, a person, you have a little bird that is coming somewhere. But that's what I was saying last day also here on the channel about Zegrova, because indeed some people were speaking to me, were explaining me step by step. At a certain moment, I said, I don't want to talk about it anymore too much, because I don't want things to collapse, or because I went public. And at the end, even if you announced, you break the news, it changed nothing in my life. I don't want to be a journalist. I am not an insider of Mercato. I know something I might say, something I don't say, but it doesn't change anything. So no. But no, congratulations to you, Fred. To answer the question as well, because I see a lot of people yes, yes, I see a lot of people no, no. I think that both can be chosen, to me at least, because the team is not complete. To me, the team is not complete. We are still missing something. Could we have done something different? I think so. But you need also to understand the context. Then, of course, you will enter a new season, and who cares about the context? So, there is a context that can be explained, but you cannot take it as an excuse every single time. You have a context, great, you understand it, you know why. Then you give a rating with a context. Then you go and you explain the season without excuses. We start all of them with 0 points. By the way, we already have 3 points more than Inter now after 2 games played, and we have the opportunity to go at +6 after 3 games. And then you have the biggest thing where I would say, yes, I am satisfied, but not that much about the Mercato. I'm satisfied about the message, the change of behavior that Fabrizio Romano is keeping repeating. But I made a video about that long time ago, where I said, look, I don't care about the risk of being totally incomplete, having zero Mercato, but I want a message to be sent to agents, to players, to opponent teams. Also, for everyone, I want also Juve to again go, and not because of panic moves or because the clock is ticking, because it's near the end. accepting some situations that in an ideal situation with a lot of money, without any problems, you would not have accepted. And I believe that Damien Comolli, for a first year at Juve, coming, knowing that he still had to, or yes or no, but taking Kalulu, paying Di Gregorio, paying Nico Gonzalez, going for so many players. I believe we started already with a minus 100, and we had no new faces. Also there, being obliged to take a decision on Chico Conceição, being able to find a way to, because at the end we don't pay cash 30 million, but we were able to not pay the close, but find an agreement with Sporting to go in 4 different times. Where that goes to Marseille, our conditions, the public messages that he went. He didn't speak a lot, but when he spoke, the message were really, really clear and actually super transparent about players like Dusan Vlahovic, without embarrassing the player, without losing the player, but also without making him happy or actually making the situation more beautiful than it actually is. Could have said for Dusan Vlahovic, there is absolutely no problem. The player is our player. No. He went really clearly. We spoke in USA with the player. We made it really clear. If he finds a team, because we already spoke and maybe it's better for him to leave, if he finds a team at the right condition that will benefit us and him, he can leave. That offer never arrived. Dusan Vlahovic is still there. And I think that Dusan Vlahovic will be a big part of it. So in terms of message, in terms of behavior also, backed up by Fabrizio Romano that continues to say the new way of Juve is our way or no way. I love it. I really love it, which will bring some, of course, some problems with some clubs. Sometimes maybe with Al Khelaifi from Paris Saint-Germain, maybe with some other club that will not be happy about the situation, but it is what it is. And then I saw a beautiful message in the chat as well that said, Beppe, the fact that we didn't send 1 single euro to other Italian clubs, it's a huge big one, and I can only applaud it. Then of course, if you have a phenomenal playing in another team that you really want, he wants to come, why not? But if we can limit it, I would be extremely happy.
I'm going to contradict myself, as I promised. So I am a no, but
I was answering Sasha, because if Sasha is late, no, usually the tradition here in the chat is that when Sasha arrives, we can really start the live. Today she's like 30 minutes late. That's not okay.
Let's go.
Okay, now we can start. All right.
Now we can start officially. Buongiorno, Sasha.
But I would not have wanted to be Comolli when he joined Juventus.
Yeah.
He walks in the door. He immediately has to send 100 million euro out for players, some of whom are unwanted and some of whom are underperforming. He's told, due to financial fair play, he can't bring in any players unless players leave. And the players who we want to get rid of are underperforming players on high wages. And he's supposed to then bring Juventus back to the top. It's like giving a man scissors and asking him to cut the entire lawn. You can't do it. You can only prune a little bit. And that's what he did. He went out and got the best striker on a free, in a position of need in Jonathan David. I know some people are kind of split on him, but he joined us at 26 years old and immediately became our top goal contributor on the entire squad. Even more so, contributing more goals and assists than Milik and Kostic, who've been relevant for over a decade in Italian football, or world football, I should say. He traded potential for ability in bringing in João Mario over Alberto Costa. He sent Nico out on a package, roughly 35 million, and brought in a younger replacement in Zhegrova for half the cost. And due to his negotiation and hard line, he set us up that next year we could be looking at over $75 million coming in from obligations, plus at minimum 35 million euro in wages leaving our books and players leaving on a free, and none of whom are starters, mind you. And so while there are holes in the team, which is kind of why I lean towards a no, I think Comolli, and maybe I'm getting ahead of ourselves in rating the Mercato, Beppe, but I think Comolli's done a fantastic job with what nonsense he had to deal with when he joined.
I also feel that this is what Juventus needed, because we as fans, we want the big names, the big signings, the post on Instagram, the repost, and that's a prolific midfielder and the best midfielder in Premier League or whatever. We want that. It's normal. But on the other hand, you have to look reality in the eye and see when it's possible and when it's not. I mean, over a season ago, I think last September, we were very happy. I think the majority of Juventus fans were very happy. We had Coop, we had Douglas Luiz, Chico coming in on a loan potentially. There was talk about other players, so we were very happy. In the end, we cut ourselves financially. We bled dry, and we still didn't maintain the norms of quality that we are supposed to maintain as Juventus. So we failed in both directions. And now we have somebody who comes in, has a different perspective, is outside of the whole Juventus Italian football saga, has a different view on things, has a very objective mindset, and takes decisions based on rational thinking, financial base, and things that the team at that point needs. And I love that. That can only help us so much in the future. Like,
Yeah, but yeah, I try to listen to serious conversation, guys. For once that I bring you serious people, the chat has absolutely no intention to listen to me. They don't care about Mercato anymore. It's international break. They want to enjoy. They were so stressed for 3 months, and now that we have people that are explaining us now, Beppe and the brother. For the people that are listening in audio, that's what actually people are writing in the chat. Beppe and the brothers, Beppe and the bald brothers. Beppe, why are there two Beppe? We don't understand. Because of course, go and watch also here on YouTube if you want to see the face of the three of us. We indeed look all the same. Sorry, Frederic. If you want to
it's
continue,
okay.
continue. Otherwise, we
It's
go
okay.
towards the message
No,
of Samir.
I just think we're looking at this Mercado now, and we're not complete, but we have to look at financial stability for the future and the things we can do in the future. And I think these are very important steps that we are taking.
I'm sorry. For
Who wants
listeners
to read
only,
that one?
for
Who wants to
listeners
read that
only,
one?
we got Sir Raz coming up here. But now we need 4 other Dragon Balls because we already have 3, which is just a
We're better off starting
brilliant,
OnlyFans,
brilliant
Beppe. We're
comment.
better off starting OnlyFans instead of
We try. It could be a good concept. Huh? You never know. You never know
I
in
don't know.
life.
I don't know. But all in all, to round out my speech, like I think this is very important for our future. Maybe not for the immediate future, as in this season or the coming months, but for our financial stability and the way to do business and how to do business in the future. I think these are the best moves, and the way that we done these moves or Komoli did these moves is the way to go forward and will benefit us greatly.
Couple more numbers. Last season, our net transfer spend was almost negative 100 million euro. This year, even with a 100 million euro commitment to those loan purchases, negative 50. So Komoli cut it in half. And even with keeping Dusan, our wage bill is a couple million euro less. So we've already see the effect of that type of approach on our team, which I think next year will really, really, really benefit us by virtue of the money that we're going to be liberated from our wage bill, and that will be coming in through those obligations.
Iberito with Bring Colpogobo and Romero Aguirre, and we'll have a royal flush. Samir, Comoli's way of doing business and Tudor Juve DNA is the right step to bring Juve back to the old days and gain the respect all over Europe. We lost character and our name with the past management. Look, I have no idea what will happen this season in terms of result. I'm quite cautious because I never said here on the channel we are favorite to win the Scudetto or we are favorite to fight until the end. I personally think that we are a bit short in terms of team, that we are incomplete, that there are some roles that we should have gone with a bit different investments, but I think that there will be a lot of games as well that we will probably win in a dirty way, which we were not doing last year. You know, there were at a certain moment, I believe also from the entire team and coach, etc., etc. I will never say accepting mediocrity, but okay, we did a draw. You know, I was in Toronto this weekend. I spoke with a lot of people with Juventini. I love to speak with Juventini. At a certain moment, I go outside and I see three Juventini, young generation, like they were, I don't know, 17, 20, I don't know. And I hear that they are saying, wow, our most beautiful game last season was Juve, no, Inter Juve 4-4. I said, guys, no, no, it's not the most beautiful game. You cannot tell me that this is the most beautiful game. It cannot be because Juve, you win. Tell me the 1-0 or the 0-1 because we won in San Siro, if I'm not wrong, uh, against Inter with the assist of Colo Muani, the goal of Conceição, that this is your most beautiful game. Why not? The Leipzig game that at the end we win, even if it was a doomed game, I can understand, I can accept it. But don't tell me that the 4-4 was the most beautiful game of last season, because this is something that I cannot accept. And you see the young generation are going there, and I believe that at a certain moment in the season where we're drawing, we are not losing. You know, that not obsession to win press conference, you know it, and that was a huge big one that was not appreciated inside Juve. You know, it had an impact on the team, which will not happen with Igor Tudor. Igor Tudor at a certain moment was absolutely not happy with the Mercato that was done. You could feel it, you can see it in how he was speaking before, after the game. You saw that but he's there, he will fight for it. We do with what we have. It's not an ideal situation. I'm expecting a bit more that at the end arrived. But you will see that Genoa goal, the 1-0, that dirty 1-0 on a corner kick with a beautiful goal of Dusan Vlahovic. In some games, you will see that we will try to do something which in the past was not. And I agree that step by step we will go there. Again, I don't think that we are favorite to win. We still miss something, but I see something. You know, for me, the most beautiful signature is not the player, is that new structure that has been put in place. And I'm not speaking about the persons, because the persons we will be able to judge them in 6 months, in 1 year, in 18 months. But the structure that is really a sporting structure with a general director, with a garant of Juventinità, head of relationship that is Giorgio Chiellini, with a technical director that is close to Tudor and close to Comoli, that I had the opportunity also to meet in Dortmund. We have soon a sporting director, and there was a question about sporting director. At the moment, we don't know. There are rumors, like yesterday there was also the rumor of the name of Claudio Chiellini, that is a brother of Giorgio, to potentially have it. We will see. I can tell you that at the moment, Damian Comoli, he didn't care about that position, because he knows really well that someone that will enter the Mercato now will never have enough time to start everything, to study and go his way. So I really think that he's doing his job now, Damian Comoli, and from now on, we have time, we will go for it. But I really love the structure. If the men will work, that's something that we will see.
Also, I think, I'm sorry, Zach. I
Go ahead.
think it's fair to mention our good friend John Alcon as well, because for a lot of Juventini, he's viewed as, oh, it's John Alcon, the devil, Mr. Cheap. He doesn't care about Juventus, but he's the one. Not only did he bring in millions, close to a billion, even, I think, in the last decade or so. Apart from that, he was the one who insisted on this structure and insisted on changing things for the better, because he was also somebody that stood along the side and watched Motta get chosen, watched our good friend the chef get chosen, and things like that. And he signed off on it, but he wasn't convinced. And now he took matters into his own hands, solidified the structure, brought in people with ability to grow and to make the brand and the team and the club grow. And I applaud that. And it's very easy to criticize and point fingers and say, oh, John Alcon, you're the death of Juventus, and things I read on the internet. But if you look at it a bit unbiased and objectively, you can see that this is a person who did not only spend his own money investing into Juventus, he also put on his time, his knowledge, and the will to make something better out of Juventus. And I think we should applaud that and give credit where credit's due, in my opinion.
Look, in terms of money, he never missed to put some money into the team. Never. Then on top of that, what did he do? Like when there was that storm of change of board and management, he said it clearly. First, we have a priority. That priority is working on off the field topics, accountants and lawyers. That's number one. And that's what we did. Leaving the sporting side to Max Allegri because he trusted him, because he knew him, knowing that there would not have been some miracles, and also knowing that it's a guy that had wide shoulders to take the blame, to take the shit and the responsibility, and also knowing that it would have gone towards an end. What is he doing then? From the moment that off the field topics were fixed, he went to the sporting side. What did he do? He went for the, at that moment, trendiest name, most in vogue name, probably the best name according to a lot of people, including me as well. That was Cristiano Giuntoli. The problem that he's doing there, he's giving him all the keys because he says he's the guy. Look at what he did to Napoli. Because one big difference between Andrea Agnelli and John Elkann, Andrea was 24/7 president, acting, doing. John Elkann, his owner, is not there. So, that's the huge big difference. He's going for Giuntoli. When he sees that after that first year where he understood, and the second year he's doing that, he's flopping, he's stopping with Cristiano Giuntoli, saying, okay, basta. Now we need something else. And he's working on a total different structure, giving also the tools, and we are speaking about cash, to succeed. Then, will we flop? We flop. But he tried first to save Juve from the outside world, one. Two, to do it with the best man available, and it flopped. And when he understood that it flopped, he went with a new structure, which he learned from his mistakes on giving all the keys to one man. And you see it now. You have Damian Comoli, Modesto, Giorgio Chiellini. That is someone that understood the DNA of Juve, that is there since long. Then he will do his mistakes. He's not a saint. He's not an expert. But you see that, everything has a sense. Then will it work? I don't know. But we will see. Patience. Who is your favorite signing of the new faces of Juve?
Jonathan David. We so desperately needed a striker who could pass the ball and put the ball in the net, which sounds silly saying that now, seeing as Dusan is our leading scorer. But that was very clear last year, and bringing in a player who is a two-way complete striker is exactly what I wanted, who can bring guys like Thuram, Yildiz, Conceição, our new signings Openda and Zhegrova into play, and not be reliant solely on scoring goals. I think will really complement this team, and we've seen that in preseason. He was a part of and/or got assists on 3 of our goals there. He scored already this season as well. And so I think we're going to see that complete contribution from him from the passing and the scoring angle. And it's something that we sorely lacked for much of last season.
I have to go with Openda because I'm Belgium, of course, so I have no choice. But no, in all seriousness, I think I remember when I saw Openda playing in Germany, and it was I remember that game because I was looking with my father, and I told him, and I said, this is a guy that actually reminds me of Carlitos, of Tevez, like the way he plays, maybe not in physicality, but the way he plays.
Who?
He has Tevez. For me,
yeah,
Openda,
no. Who reminds you of Tevez?
Openda.
Okay.
Openda, just because of explosiveness, because of how shall I put this? The way that Carlos Tevez could do pretty much everything apart from head a ball, because that was not his height wasn't in agreement with him there. But he had everything. He had vision. He had a powerful shot from long range. He had like the cool finish, the fast pace, the dribbling. And I see that in Openda too. And I think that it's something that we've been missing, because for me, Chico, up until now, has been a bit of a disappointment as well. In terms of when he has a bad game, he has a bad game. He doesn't know how to switch that around. And I think Openda is somebody that we were lacking up front. He could bring in more diversity. So for me, especially after the whole Colo Muani debacle and saga, normally if a player falls through, you get the second best option or the third or even the fourth option, because there is no time, there's nobody available. But now we went on and got an even better striker, in my opinion, with more potential for a lesser fee. I think we did okay there. I know Zach is very critical, but history will show. I
Strong
mean,
statements, my friend. Strong statements. Better striker, different characteristics.
yeah,
For a speedy, short guy like him, as we saw today against Liechtenstein, will struggle against low block Serie A teams over the course of the season because it'll struggle to find space. Beppe and I were talking about it before we got on about Openda's inability to get involved in the game against Liechtenstein. Jonathan David, if he's having an off game, say he's not, from a striker perspective, he can drop in and play the role of a passer. And we absolutely could see Openda, David, and Yildiz play together by virtue of their different characteristics, especially against some of the mid-table teams who will venture forward against us, giving that space for Openda to run in behind based on either long balls from Locatelli or a guy like Jonathan David dropping into the midfield to facilitate.
I'm a bit confused also about Openda adding him to Jonathan David with Dusan Vlahovic. I still need to understand what will be the second position or what will be the position of Openda to play them all together. I struggle. And also today I was curious. I watched the first half of Belgium and then I see Openda playing as a number 9 there. I say, yeah, but we have Jonathan David. We have Dusan Vlahovic in case of. It's true that when he's moving away from that 9, he always has that tendency to switch to the left. So that's something I think that he could do. But is it his natural position? Can he play there? If yes, then he becomes a vice Yildiz. But we paid, or if we pay him at the end of the season with an obligation, it's 45 million euro. Vice Yildiz, I don't know. So I have my question mark, even if it's a player that I really love. And I think that if we find the position for him, he can do really well. Then I saw the salary of Jonathan David, that is the second most paid player at Juve. And then I'm asking myself, but what do you do with Jonathan David? So I have all these question marks. Or maybe Dusan Vlahovic has already an agreement with another team. Like today, the latest news before we went up and we started the live, the Fabrizio Della Valle, that said indeed there were big, huge interest from Milan, but because Marotta already went in contact with Dusan Vlahovic and apparently could already have behind the doors already found an agreement to have him for free next season. And it could be that Juve already understood that the players was already clear, and that we will see Dusan Vlahovic less and less and less and less with the team. Could be, yeah, but that's a plan that I do not know. But with all these players at disposal, I still have difficulties to understand it. My favorite signing, emotionally, also because of how it went, but also not only that, also because I was already speaking about him like 3 years ago, Zhegrova, and I didn't wait Lil Juve to understand how good he was. But Zhegrova is a good player. I believe that Fred knows him as well from his Belgium time. So it's a player that if you are living in Belgium, you already know how good he is. But Zhegrova emotionally, then I tell you that if we find the spot for Openda, I think that Openda could do extremely well. But it could be at the cost of Jonathan David. I'm not a big, huge fan of Jonathan David, but when I saw some people, I believe it was Niz that wrote in the chat earlier, he said, at the moment, I have not been convinced by Jonathan David. That's what he wrote. I tell you that actually, I'm more convinced about Jonathan David than what I believed before. Because what Zach was saying is correct. When he has an off day, in front of the goal, like he had against Genoa, because that's a goal, I'm sorry, but you need to score that. If Vlahovic would have missed that, that the memes would have been crazy. We didn't hear that much. I was in Canada, in Toronto, in the country of Jonathan David at that moment. Before the game, they were telling me predictions. He will score a hat trick. He will score 2 goals. He will be man of the match. When he missed that open goal, I was watching them, and they were all like, no, we never said that. It was quite funny. But on the other side, if you look the game of Jonathan David, linking up, trying to track back, physically winning his duel, and if you're looking at the game of Dusan Vlahovic when he's entering, Dusan is one touch. The goal, fantastic. After that, it was a disaster. He didn't control one ball. He couldn't fight with his team, with the defenders. He was totally lost. So luckily, scoring that goal, I'm happy. Oh, bravo! But I have my doubts about who played the best between Jonathan David and Dushan. But he needs to score, Jonathan David.
I think Jonathan David is also a player that can win those dirty games for you. Like he can be out of the game the whole game and then have an opportunity and put that away, or make room space for a teammate due to his physicality or due to his the capability he has of putting pressure on the defense, which Dusan doesn't have. So I think we have a lot of strikers with different characteristics, personalities, and now it's up to Tudor to find the match to light the flame, so to speak. And I think if he can do that, then we're gonna have some very, very, very entertaining games this season.
There is Thomas that is saying, pay attention because on the other side, strikers don't play 90 minutes, problem solved. That's what we were saying at a certain moment of the live as well. Could be, not could be. Probably that's the reason that Igor Tudor wanted that many different offensive changes, because that's the number one rule, and he loves to repeat it. Running more than the opponent, then it's the quality that is making the difference. But if you're not able to at least match that intensity, then we lost, because it's not okay. And if you have a Chico that is not able to play more than 65 minutes and you are able to change it with Zhegrova, or if you have Zhegrova that is starting and after 65 minutes you have a Chico Conceição that is entering and making people totally crazy on that right side, it's beautiful. Same with Yildiz and Openda, same with Jonathan David, and even a Dusan Vlahovic that is entering the way that he's entering, being extremely angry and then going with the celebration like that. I'm fine. I'm really fine with that. But when I'm telling you the team is incomplete, I like Joao Mario, but I think that we lack something there. If there was one position that I would have reinforced on top of all we had, I think we need the midfielder, etc., but especially right wing back, because that's not the position of Kalulu. You cannot play until January with Kalulu there. You cannot.
And when you play Kalulu there, you then thin out a back line that already, in my opinion, has a lack of quality depth. I mean, Bremer is basically three center backs in one. Yes, he can cover folks, but you move Kalulu out there, who's very tidy on the right side of a back three. You're forced to play guys who have been inconsistent and at times struggled against even Serie A competition. And so I think Kalulu playing at right wing back is a double negative for our team that concerns me.
I also think that they're leaning a bit on Cabal as well, that they hope that Cabal will regain shape soon in order to fill up maybe potentially a reserve right wing back position, because that's a position that Cabal in theory could play on. I'm not that confident on it though, because I saw Cabal when he was fit missing a couple of things, to be honest. He was a diamond in the rough, needed a lot of work. But yeah, I agree with you both that right wing back position is something that scares me a bit, especially in Champions League games, where that position is very, very, very important, even more so than maybe the midfield position or a striker position.
One thing about Cabal is, and I don't want to get ahead of us on Cabal, because this is not me hating on him. I think he's a very good young player, but we want to be measured with our approach. One, when we bought him, he only played half a season in Serie A, because he was the first half in Verona. He was a third choice left back before they sold half their team. He played the second half of that season. We bought him. He played a few games for us, showed some promise, got absolutely cooked by Zhegrova in the Champions League, and then he hurt himself. He has very few games at the senior level in Serie A over the course of his career. So as a left-footed player, I think right off right wing back, right? I think we need to take it easy with Cabal, bring him back and ease him back into the squads slowly, and not expect too much from a young player who doesn't have that many Serie A caps.
No, he played nine times with Juve. Huh? That's it. Huh? 9 games.
Not a lot, and not a lot with Verona. The year where he played really a no nonsense left fullback in that Verona team just because they were trying to stay alive in Serie A, which they did, of course. But we need to be patient with him and not expect too much and think he's going to come in and start from day one or anything like that.
I give you a topic before going to the other one, and then I leave you alone 2 minutes. Colo Muani, miss or no miss for Juve, and also the situation how it was dealt with in a promise with a guy or not. I don't know if it was promise or not, but the fact that he waited until the real last day. Go with Colo Muani. I come back in 1 second.
And he's gone. We've taken over, Frederic.
We've taken over.
I'm,
Now
ne-
it's
I'm never really gone. I'm never really gone.
I love Colo Muani and what he did for us, and I really wanted to see him in our jersey. But the answer for me is it's not a miss. It is him not joining as representative of Comoli's new stance on how Juventus is going to do business, and I love his sort of rigid or no nonsense approach to bringing in players and selling players. It's what's going to likely reap us over 75 million in buy clauses next year for us to play with. And so I really like the fact that we have a strategy and we're sticking to it, even when we might love a player and a player might love us.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of heartbreaking because he was Juventino through and through. I had big hopes for him, but if you look at it objectively, then you must state that we were jerked around by PSG for the whole transfer window as well. They agreed with certain terms, then they pulled back. Then it was the sheikh that didn't agree. Then it was the team manager. Then it was the kid guy who had something to say about the matter. And it was a farce. It was something you could tell from minute one that PSG was milking it and trying to put Juventus's back against the wall in order for those final 48 hours to say, well, hey, this is what we can do. Take it or leave it. But Comoli went ahead of them and looked for another player in Openda, had that deal in the back of his pocket all along, because if I'm not mistaken, my source confirmed that Comoli had the deal with Openda in place the second week of August already. So that's a long time. Then the talks with Leipzig and Openda started, and it was pretty fairly soon done in terms of a gentleman's agreement. And this is the thing that I like. We went on for Cup minors last season for 2 months. We were pushing, pulling for like a million more buyback clause, 2 million there, 2 million this. No, we want 60. We don't want to give 60. And eventually, he didn't even did the preseason with us. So we kind of diminished his market value just by buying him so late and having this whole theatricality about his potential transfer. And now, instead of getting the boot from Juventus's end, it was Comoli who was doing the Kansas City shuffle. Remember, I spoke about that, and this was a classic Kansas City shuffle. And then PSG, contacted Juventus. I think it was the night of the 30th, 3 a.m., saying, "Hey, if you guys don't mind, we'll give him on a loan." And then Comoli was like, "No, we have a deal in place with somebody else. So thank you, goodbye." And it's a shame for somebody like Colo Muani to be in between those two ferns at that point. But that's how football is. I mean, that's just the way it goes. And for once, we weren't the team that got shafted, so to speak. So I'm very happy, and I think Openda or anyone in his place will do great.
Fed up with Juventus' proposal and bad faith in the negotiation for Randal Colo Muani, Nasser El Khelaifi finally picked up his phone and was very direct with the Piemontese club management. "You've been messing with us for weeks. It's over. You won't get your way with me. I will remember your tactics. Trust me on that," he declared, before instructing the player's agent to find a solution with other clubs, reported by our friend Rav, that we say hello to, of course. Is that a big risk that at a certain moment clubs like Paris Saint-Germain and others could potentially track back and not negotiating with Juve anymore in the future?
I hope so. I hope so. I'd rather be hated by everyone than do a Giuntoli thing and be loved by whole of Italy and just going, "Oh, we'll buy you another stadium. Oh, yes, we will sponsor your what was it, the thing from Fiorentina, the youth thing." No, we're not here to make friends. We're not here to get along with everybody. It's always been everyone against Juventus. Let's keep up that trend, but eventually earn something from it. That's my opinion.
I wanted to go, guys. If you need to leave because we want to keep it between 1 hour, 1 hour 15. But if you want to leave, let me know, and guys, then we round up. But otherwise, we stay 10 more minutes, something like that. I wanted to go towards the front page of Gazzetta dello Sport of today that was showing us Juve Vita Mia, Juve My Life, speaking about the contract exchange of Kenan Yildiz until 2030. So an extension actually from 1 more year because he already has a contract until 2029. But of course, from a net salary of 1.5 ish going towards 3.54, that can increase up to 5. Can be the first one. What do you think about that situation? It would be obvious to say bravo, great, but is it too much too soon? Not enough? Do you believe in contracts in 2025? What is your point on Kenan?
There are there are rare moments where there are players that join a team to ignite a fan base's passion and love of football. I mean, at Juventus, we've been lucky over the years to have, Zidane and Baggio and Del Piero and Pogba and, La Jolla, who I love. And we had, Ronaldo joined, who for a lot of people was that player, but we haven't had one for the last few years. And Yildiz is so clearly to me a player that ignites the passion of our fan base. And that's really what fans want is they want to be passionate about a club that they love. And so for me, obviously I'm not saying break the wage model, but for me, an extension and a race commensurate to his importance on the team is a no-brainer. And in fact, should be done ASAP, because a player like him, not only in his skill set, but how we as fans respond to his contribution on our team. Mind you, being top 5 in almost every attacking, midfield, passing, and defending categories last year, right? It's just unparalleled. And so get it done. It's very simple to me.
Let me say hello to Colo that I also had the opportunity to meet in Toronto and spend 1 hour together with him in watching a women game coached by one side Stefan Lichtsteiner, the other side Sebastian Giovinco. Was really nice to meet. I was more excited to meet Dan in real life after 5 years that we know each other than meeting the other two. But don't tell me, don't tell them, please. No, but it was really, really great. I know that Dan is a long friend from GJustjuve, but even longer from Turin Giants. So it's family. And also, when I was there, I already invited him when he can to one of these shows, and if not, doing a special one with Dan.
Great.
So at least Fred, you're about Juve Ti amo, Juve I love you from Kenan Yildiz.
We have to be honest. This is increasing wages not going to scare off other teams, is it? I mean, hey, here's 5 million. I mean, it's not Liverpool's not going to say, "Oh, 5 million." No, we can't offer that. I mean, but that's not the point. I think the point is to have to show from a Juve position some sort of appreciation and belief in him too. That we believe that he will be a more determined a player that will determine more in the foreseeable future. That we not only believe in him, but we want to see him succeed. And of course, if we can do that and we can extend this contract, and I think the last I heard was still 2030. I think that was in the pipeline. That his dad was coming over during the Inter and Borussia game to talk it out. But I mean, if it's a 2030, then everybody can come a knocking, and we have the right. Or Komoli, our good hard friend Komoli, can say no. F you, we don't want to sell him. And then the ball's in Kenan's camp. And if Kenan says, "Hey, I have a chance to go to Real Madrid and earn 3 times what I'm earning right now," then nobody can blame him at a certain point. But at least Juventus will be compensated. And I think that is something that Komoli knows too. And he knows that if I have to part ways with Kenan, who is an amazing talent, an amazing boy, somebody with great potential and a great gift, at least I want to be compensated in the amount that should be suitable for Juventus. So it's a win-win because Kenan gets a very nice increase, a nice bump. I wouldn't even be surprised if his next contract extension will be 7 to 8 million if he deserves it at that point. I don't think Juventus will have any issues on liberating that sum in order to get him paid. But on the other hand, it's also for us a bit of a fail-safe not to, get him get snagged away by Brighton that offers, I don't know, 15 millions net a year, because these are the things that's happening now in football. You have these lower league table teams that come around and offer three times the salary of the things that we are offering in Italy as a top team. And for a player, I can understand that they're very tempted because you still play in the Premier League, which is miles away from Serie A at this point, let's be honest. And you make a lot more than you do now. And they have a very short lifespan in a career. So you have to look at it both ways. But I think a contract extension will be beneficial for Kenan, also for his peace of mind, for Juventus. And we'll see what happens. Do I think that he'll stay till fin de carrière at Juventus? No, I don't think so. But let's enjoy him while we can. Let's make sure he feels rewarded, he feels appreciated within our team and our club, and take it from there. I think you're muted.
Beppe, are you muted?
I just read the comment of Mikel that said Yildiz could play for Barca, Real Madrid, Liverpool, or other five clubs in the top five clubs in the world. We are lucky to have him. He earns less than Kelly. Just for you to know, Mikel is the biggest hater of Kelly on planet Earth. But I was fixing also on another message, the message of a Cugino Eddie that said we had Chiesa. With immediately the response from Shadow said Chiesa was never as good as he was with Italy. And Mikel, if I'm not wrong, or someone else that said he is done. Chiesa is a done player. And speaking about Chiesa, I wanted to come back to this because we saw that he has been left out of the Champions League squad with Liverpool. I remember after match day 1 when he's deciding that game for Liverpool, he enters, I believe, at the 80th, he scores at the 82nd. Immediately there was that press conference post-game where he says, the season before was actually really difficult, conditioned by the fact that Juve didn't let me train or having a pre-season, and I couldn't train for one entire month. This is why, but this was their decision, not mine. This has actually penalized me, but now I'm ready. These were the
I
words
wish
of
him the best of
Chiesa.
luck. Best of luck to Chiesa. That's all I could say. I mean, this guy is incredible. I followed the whole Chiesa saga from nearby. I knew what was happening. I even partly knew the surgeons that performed the operation on him. And this training thing, that this nonsense that he's pulling out in the papers is not true. Why? Because he had inflammation in his knee. They advised him not to train. They advised him to rest, to take. There was cryotherapy. There were, I don't know, they pulled out liquids from the laceration and inflammation and things like that. And they specifically told him, don't pull a Pogba, don't train, don't just give it rest. It needs healing. And they never forced him. But then, to come out with this story now that you're in Liverpool and spit in the plate that gave you food all these years, I find it offensive. So best of luck to him. I hope he wins the Champions League. Oh no, too soon. Sorry.
Indeed. Anyway, he will not be able, at least because you never know in the second part of the season. But I think also from a sporting point of view, it's really strange. You know that you were already not the favorite of a slot last season. Then that BS, I totally agree with you, Fred. On top of that, Huijsen didn't play in the beginning of the season with Juve. He was also there. Then he went to Bournemouth, where for, I believe, 10, 12 games, he was not even starting. But then from the moment they had the opportunity, he never left the team. And then he goes to Real Madrid. If we want to speak about a player that is extremely controversial, but Adrien Rabiot, while all the different leagues were starting, he was taking pictures on his boat. Chill, tranquillo. And then he comes to Liga. He doesn't play the two first games, and then he starts and he's finishing the best player of Marseille and top 11 of Liga. So I can understand it from September, October? Why not November? But at a certain moment in December, January, you should have been at full power, which he was not. Then, yeah, karma maybe, but then even if without linking it to Juve, if you know that they have Ekiteke, they have what's the Alexander Isak, Mo Salah, all the players that they sent. I believe that they went over 500 million in one session only, and you were already not the preferred one of slot. Then I don't know what you are choosing: money, career, the city of Liverpool because you like the Beatles. I don't know what you have chosen. No, maybe he likes the Beatles. I don't know, huh? But it's strange. It's really really strange. I fucking hell. Ah, wait. I stepped on something because I'm without socks. That's okay. For people that are listening, I'm without socks, and I was doing like that with my feet on the ground, and I stepped on something that was actually this.
Oof.
It hurted a lot. But anyway, I could have been out like Chiesa, and then I tell you, I couldn't do the lives, guy, because
Or
you
worse,
know,
like Milik, you could have a cut and be out like Milik for 2 months.
for 2 years,
Two
not 2
years.
months, 2 years, 2 years, not 2 months. Uh, what? Wait, what? Is there another topic that I wanted to go through? We spoke about Openda Zhegrova. We spoke about Yildiz. Oh, can we give a rating to the squad that we have today?
What is a 10? I mean, what is a 10, like a squad that can easily win Champions League, or how should we?
In Italy, you never give a 10. I don't know
No, no,
why.
no. But I
Because,
mean, the top figure. What is that? The Champions League winning team, or
well, let's say 8 is a team that is in the starting block to win the Champions, to win the Scudetto.
8. 7.
9
seven and
is
a half?
nine is there is no way that someone else is winning it. 10, you will win it with 202 points without losing in a game. Let's say,
7.
7.5.
yeah. Who are your
Yeah.
favorites for the Scudetto, or let's say top 3 podium at today?
The top 3 in no particular order, and I can get into that if you'd like, but no particular order to start. Inter, Juve, Roma.
Oh yeah, you don't put Napoli?
Oh no, that's easy. And then Fiorentina is the wild card to sneak into 4th.
Inter, Juve, Roma, Lazio.
And Napoli, everyone's saying they're too good, they're too this. Y'all seen Conte in Europe, first and foremost.
Yeah.
Two, they won the Scudetto last year, having the lowest amount of points in over a decade, playing in 0 competitions. I mean, they crashed out of the Copa in the first round against my Sunday league team. So there's no way they get more points than last year. And it's almost guaranteed that whoever wins Serie A is going to have more points than 82 or whatever they had last season.
Yeah.
They do not convince me with Lukaku out and having to bring Luka and Højlund in and figure out, I am not convinced until Conte, with his 20-year career, shows that he can manage multiple competitions with any degree of aplomb. And I guarantee you, he's sick and tired of people telling him he can't compete in Europe. So he's going to try, and he's probably
Fail miserably.
going to fail miserably in both.
No, I think it will implode as well. And you saw it the last game too, but because they won like how Conte likes, 95th minute, Anguissa, yes, La Città, L'amore per Napoli, all the cazzate you can think of. But if you look at the game, it wasn't that impressive. And if you do that 2, 3 games in a row, you're going to drop points. If you drop points, Conte is going to get mad, pissed off. He's going to complain at De Laurentiis and the squad. The squad will go back to De Laurentiis and complain about Conte. And before it's January, you have World War III in Napoli and no title contender more to speak of. That's my honest opinion, and also a bit of hope.
Aspet is asking me a question. I have absolutely no idea what the question is. In your opinion, who will be the silver medalist in defense after Bremer this season?
Second best defender.
From our
Kelly.
I will use words that people. No, I really like Kelly. I really like Kelly. But from day one, huh? From day one, I really
Oh,
like
I
Kelly.
didn't. I hated him. But I think he's. I have to be honest with you. I hated him, like
It's
for
good.
real. Like I saw him the first game. I thought, what have we bought for
Yeah, but
almost
he was
25
play. He
million
was playing
euros?
as a left back.
Yes, of course, but you have these images that player comes deadline day, 25 million, what have you, comes from the Premier League or whatever, and then you see him put in a performance like that. Okay, but I seen him play at Dortmund live. I seen him these last couple of games. He's very solid. He makes no mistakes or close to none, which for me, for a defender, is something that's very not only rare but also very particular and very important. So if he
He
can
trained
keep
a lot
up
this
his form,
summer. And did you see the clips of him
yeah,
training
yes,
to be
yeah,
ready for the season?
yeah,
And I think whether it's his own fortitude or somebody within the team or his teammates is with the criticism he's received to come out, train hard, and put together. I mean, again, not top opposition, but still put together, very composed defensively and in possession, and even sometimes going forward in his first two games. I credit his sort of his focus and his drive to not let the negativity get to him. And I really hope he does pan out. I don't think he's going to be the silver medalist, but I credit the improvement that he's shown, at least in the small sample sizes so far this year.
I also feel that he knows what Juventus is. Like he didn't have a clue when he arrived. Let's be honest. You could tell he was a fish on the dry in all senses of the sentence. But now you could feel. I mean, if you look at even those small training clips on Juventus when they enter the training pitch and they greet and whatever, you could feel that there's a lot more warmth and a lot more he's more at ease, he's more comfortable, he's more, I don't know, I think for a player that does a lot, I think mentally and physically.
No, but there are things that where he can improve. Anticipation in some duels and the passing skills that he needs to improve. But no, I'm happy. I think also that the fact that Mercato is officially closed now can benefit him also mentally. Patchy sending me that picture without explanation or too much, just going fast. Pick one player that you take next season out of contract for Juve.
Oh,
Maignan,
well,
for the people that are listening, of course, I showed the top 11 out of contract in July 26 with Maignan, Upamecano, Gay, Konate, Carvajal, De Jong, Bernardo Silva, Robertson, Dybala, Lewandowski, and Dusan Vlahovic.
Bernardo Silva, and who knows, maybe we already talked to him. No, also, no, I don't know.
Sounds like you know something, my friend.
I don't know. I'm not gonna spill the beans yet. But I'd pick Bernardo Silva because we need another central midfielder, and it's Bernardo Silva. I mean, for me, he oozes football. He's a player I admire the way he plays. I don't know. For me, Bernardo Silva is one of the best players in the world.
And I think a lot of the folks on this list are older and or we're going to be outside of our price range. I think Bernardo being able to get him as in an attacking position and maybe liberate the need to contribute defensively to be a creative force alongside or ahead of Thuram alongside Yildiz, I think could be super exciting to watch, especially if we have this anticipated windfall next year financially based on all these moves to bring in some really cool talent around players like that. So I agree with you, Frederic.
I see. Would you have gone for a Gundogan this season for free?
No.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah. And I think I will say this is, we when you put up a picture like that, we all kind of dream about how different, we have Konate. A lot of people are saying different players. It's also clear from Comoli that not only does the money have to be right, but he's looking for a particular characteristic and attitude in the players that he's bringing in as well. And I think that is something that was sorely lacking before. Maybe you get a name, Aaron Ramsey's on a free, let's bring him in, without ever considering whether it's a a culture fit to the type of culture that Juventus is all about, as well as what you want to build with the coach and this aligned management structure, Beppe, that you talked us through. And so I think it's going to come down to also, if a couple guys are on that list are in the picture, which I imagine many aren't based on their wage demands or age, do they fit our vision and culture that Comoli is trying to build a culture built around the aura of Juventus that I am all in favor of?
We have Steve that is going with a beautiful proposal. Robertson, Konate, Bernardo in, Kostic, McKennie, and Dusan out.
Where do I sign? Where do we sign?
We save a lot of salary from Dusan, not that much from McKennie and Kostic. I don't think that Robertson, Konate, and Bernardo, in terms of salary, will all accept to come for you for peanuts. But it's beautiful. It's really beautiful.
We're going to be at least 35 million euros off our wages.
Yeah, but pay attention.
10 a piece, 10 mil a piece. I think that's fair. I'd take it.
we also have the capital increasement coming up.
Yeah, but capital increase doesn't influence in financial fair play. So that's one of the difficulties.
No, of course not. But it makes it easier to, how shall I put it? Let's just say if you have a capital increase and you can put that into certain other aspects of the club's well-being or
of course,
the stability of the club, then it takes a lot of load off the other things. And I think, we can also sell players. We seem to forget that in all these years that we had to panic sell a lot of players under their price. We've gotten a bit of accustomed to that. But who's to say that we won't sell the types of Lloyd Kelly for 60 million? We all seen those prices from the last Mercato. There were players that, what was it? Holmund scored 7 goals in Italy. He's worth 70 million.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
So,
that's important as well, that we are doing well individually, but especially also as a team, because more you advance in international competition, of course, more you have appeal on that. Last question to close the night, and it's a super easy one. Who can tell me a rational explanation why Justin Bieber is transforming in Karim Benzema? I need to understand that. If someone can tell me why Bieber is looking like Benzema, and then we can close the evening together.
I'm just looking at he's got hair on his head, so he's ahead of me, man. I can't say anything beyond that.
I just can't hate on Justin Bieber. Like, I don't like his music, but I can't hate on the guy. Like, he's handsome, let's be honest. He has a shit ton of money. He lives his best life. I can't hate on the guy. I have to say though, he looks better than Benzema. Have you seen Benzema without a beard? Have you seen him completely shaven? Like completely, like everything off. He looks like a 90-year-old man with a 15-year-old face. It's really freakishly, but yeah, and of course the baby song is amazing.
Last question for the chat and not for you guys, so that we end. How happy were you with the live of today? Because it will be a standard every single Thursday. Could be that you find Zach, Fred, both of them, that we have a third one on top. We can have Farad, Kev. We have many Rav. From a Turin Giant, Rav as well. On top of that, there could be extra guests, but it's every Thursday at 10 p.m. except, of course, of crazy things that can happen in the meanwhile. But that should be the standard every Thursday, international break or not. We don't care. We go. So rating, the ratings, guys, it's not from 0 to 10. It's always from 0 to 5 to commemorate the final of Champions League. So from 0 to 5 rating for the live today, so that we can say goodbye to everyone now. And that's the tradition here. 0 to 5 ratings. We don't do to 10. 5, 4 for Cugino Eddie. 5 people are happy. If you are happy, guys, fantastic. Also for the people that are listening on Spotify and Apple Music, don't forget to, I don't know how it works, but put a star, put a comment, rate the podcast, so that it can be shared with everyone and people can grow that community of fantastic Juventini. Fred and Zach, thank you. You were amazing. It was nice for me to be able to leave the chat and leave you alone, because that's a big sign of trust, because you're great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Beppe, and thanks to the wonderful chat. Y'all are hilarious. By the
Yeah,
way.
chat is awesome. Like, thank you so much. You really made my evening with the comments and the things. So thank you so much.
Ciao a tutti. Ciao.